weaknesses in his game?
Yeah, I mean the fact that he doesn't want to finish his opponent as much as big featherweights want. Like he really had like something given on the platter last time, and he didn't push to finish. I don't know if it was the stress of getting caught or whatever, but the lack of killer instinct, I think, is his biggest weakness.
And you mentioned Schemberger several times during this interview. Now he signed with the PFL. That complicates a little bit to the chances to see a rematch in the near future, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. We had a gentleman agreement. We shook hands after the fight, and we know. He knows, I know. So we pass to the next.
Have you already picked your workout sound?
Yes, I did. Unfortunately, I won't disclose it because it's a big French song from a big French rapper, and I want everybody to feel that moment with me.
Thank you.
Of course.
Bonjour Charles, juste ici pour la sueur.
Yes.
Tu as l'air d'avoir beaucoup milité pour être présent sur la carte de l'UFC Paris. Qu'est-ce qui te plaisait à l'idée de combattre en France?
Que votre culture va tellement changer ma vie en grandissant. J'ai grandi en écoutant autant vos rappeurs, autant votre musique que vos films. Donc, d'être ici et de pouvoir partager ça avec vous. Il y a Ragnar le Breton qui va être là. Il y a tellement de personnages incroyables qui vont être à cet événement-là, dont Booba. Mais Booba va être au Stade de France pour performer, là, ce qui me fait un peu de peine. J'aurais aimé ça le voir. Mais ouais, c'est juste votre culture m'a influencé à être l'homme que je suis aujourd'hui.
Et tu viens de dire que tu as choisi de rentrer sur un son français. Est-ce que tu peux nous confier quel son?
Malheureusement, pas tout de suite. Je veux que les gens aient le petit chills quand je vais rentrer avec.
Ok, merci.
Cheers. Yes, sir.
En français.
Ok, cool.
Charles, qu'est-ce que tu as envie de dire au public français qui peut-être ne te connaît pas? Qu'est-ce que tu as envie de leur dire pour ne pas rater ton combat justement, qui pourrait être un banger comme beaucoup le disent?
Je vais simplement vous inviter à tune in sur les réseaux pour regarder le combat. Vous allez voir votre cousin canadien, votre cousin québécois vouloir tout briser, vouloir saigner devant vous, vous donner le plus d'énergie, puis vous donner un moment que vous n'allez pas oublier. C'est historique, c'est le premier événement à Paris, puis marquer l'histoire, c'est génial pour moi.
Merci.
Yes. Et merci beaucoup.
Accélère pour le son, c'est bon. Dessus? Ouais, on va tourner. On va tourner sur là et réfléchir à retirer. Ok. Ouais. Ok. Ce que je vais faire, c'est que je vais laisser trépied. Ah ouais, je peux suffire. Là, je suis dans le lever. Il y a un relais, je sais pas si c'est bien. Ok. Pas grave. Et là, je tombe dans la tige, mais c'est que dans des trucs ici. Moi, je vais laisser mon trépied. Ma cam, je vais faire des séries là-bas. Ici, le bar dessus. Et comme ça, je serai plus qu'à poser sa cam.
I thought it was during the thing.
Il a fait ça après moi. Après, ça va, t'as vu là-bas, il est là. Ouais. Ça change des... Regarde, salut. Salut.
Ouais, et toi, ça va?
Bah écoute, ça va, la reprise, j'étais en vacances, là, je suis en train
Ah, t'as conservé là-bas? Comment dire qu'il a conservé sa prestance malgré la reconnaissance qu'il vient de vivre? C'est dur. Ouais.
Je vais pas te mentir,
T'as survécu à quoi? 5-6 ans derrière ce sport?
ouais, mais c'est pire. C'est pire. On sent que tu avances, plus ça va être mieux, tu le sens, tu vois.
Ouais.
Mais ouais, c'est là.
Tu sens que
Ouais,
tu vas t'arrêter là, quoi.
Ah, mais c'est sûr, c'est terminé.
Eh, t'as pris une part fiscale d'un coup, hein, quand même, c'est bien.
Bon, merci.
Ah, c'est chez ta meuf à la Valois. À 3 pièces. Et après, j'ai vu
La première année, moi,
tu fais des montages financiers.
Ouais, c'est 10 ans. Après, c'est 10 ans, c'est que tu veux bien. Et du coup, par contre, c'est la meuf qui a fait un compte fiscal dans le temps.
C'est bien aussi, t'as déjà Pinel plus la carte de presse.
Oui.
Faut bien qu'il y en ait qui contribuent quand même, hein. Je veux dire, on peut pas tous. Putain. Et c'est quoi le film que t'as fait là, en coréen? Je vais voir, mais je regarde c'est chouette. Parce qu'il y en a eu tellement en fait.
Ouais, un Maroc maintenant.
Ah ouais, c'est arrosé là.
Ça marche bien. Ça marche beaucoup.
Beauty.
Et lui, du coup, il profite un peu de. Non, je pense pas. Ça a l'air.
Il est pas méchant.
Ouais, c'est tout. Parce que là, on passe son temps en plus sur quoi.
Ah ouais? Moi je sais. Ouais. Mais là c'est ouf ce qu'ils font, hein. C'est chouette, hein. Franchement. Ce qu'ils font, là. Les gens ils sont. C'est bien, les gens ils sont pas. Et tu commences. Je veux dire, je connais pas trop. C'est bien. C'est pas objectif.
Ouais, mais dans le petit UFC Paris, tu vois.
Ils ont acheté? Je sais pas s'ils ont acheté.
Non, je sais pas combien, mais moi, je sais que
Moins cool. Il y a plusieurs moyens. Si on le fait, ça veut dire pas le système. Donc c'est pour ça que je te dis que.
tu vois, tout à l'heure, il est bon. Tout à l'heure,
Parce que c'est bien.
ça c'est comme ça. Oui, oui, sur le roman internet. Rien. Tu sais, moi, je vis debout. Hein. Oui,
C'est vrai que t'as travaillé avec l'équipe, putain.
et ouais,
Ça fait tellement longtemps que. Les Jeux européens 2015, c'est tellement back to, on était en direct. C'était un peu.
tiens, là.
Ça, c'est vrai, ça marche. Ça bougeait plus sinon. Mais là, t'as pas envie de te poser un peu?
Dans 2 ans, je pense. J'ai commencé de dire à la
Avant, c'est dans ta retraite?
non, bah, je vais même passer du temps.
Bravo.
Si un défendant de tes tours,
Ah ouais! Ouais, faut.
ça ne pose pas. Ouais, il y a que Dados qui tient le bastion pour l'instant.
Ah ouais?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes, just after the question.
Literally, yeah, just a few quick check.
Yeah, 2 questions. No.
So he's coming in, so when, as soon as he's off this day, we'll
Yeah,
just leave.
I just told my colleague.
Cool.
No problem. We'll be
Cool.
ready.
We'll just have to move quickly.
Yes, thank you so much.
là, il prend moins leur côté organisationnel sur le rôle des autres. Bah, là, c'est le point, et bah, il gère le dispo. Trio.
Bonjour.
What's up, Simon? How have you found Paris so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Beautiful city, all buildings.
Is it, you're one of the most like fan favorite guys in the UFC. Is it a little bit weird to be playing sort of the bad guy this week?
On the back side?
I know there's a few boos yesterday at the open workout.
Oh yeah, there's a few dudes, but I ended in moves.
Un problème de son?
Sorry guys, the mic's not working.
Who? Hello.
We good? So obviously, you know, this is the biggest fight of your career. You've kind of, throughout your career, sort of just been an easygoing guy, but when it's getting to this level, as it's starting to get to your head, you realise that, wow, I could be the world champion if this keeps going my way.
This is my job. It's just another fight. Still not working.
So your jewelry.
You go for great.
So you said it's your job and this is just another fight. Is that how you're looking at Cyril? Just another guy that you have to do your game against and not really worry about what he's here to do?
Yeah, it's just another fight for me. I know a good win over Cyril will put me in a good conversation of a new contract and more money. And this is what I do to feed my family, and I'm all about the dollars.
Have you got the family here with you this week?
Yeah, my son's here, family's here. A few people from Australia's travelled over. We can travel now, so big Archie there at the back. Yeah, it's good to see. You know, finally everyone can come, and it's a great opportunity for me. A couple of my family members have travelled, which if I'd never got the opportunity to do something like this or come this far in life, you know, they would never travel outside of our little Western Sydney box. So it's something I'm really proud of, and it's a massive achievement for me to be a part of history for the UFC and for Paris.
When you look at Cyril, right, a lot of people talk about his striking and his movement. Do you see him as a kind of complex guy to fight, or do you think that once we're in there, we're both big guys throwing punches and that's just the way it's going to go?
Oh, we all know he's a great athlete. He's really fast and all this, but I excel in the cage. Once the cage door's shut, it's only me and him. And as much as people keep telling me I have to worry about Cyril, I think Cyril's got a bit to worry about for me too.
Obviously, the heavyweight division's in a weird one right now. Like they're talking about Joe and Stipe. We don't really know if that's happening yet. France is injured. What's on the line here for the winner? Does the guy who wins this fight get to call the UFC and say, "Hey, screw John, screw Stipe, I get to fight for a title now"?
Definitely, the winner gets a say. That's for sure. But that's not on my mind at all. I've got a big Frenchman coming to knock my head off, and that's my only worry at the moment.
Speaking of French, is it possible to do a shoey with wine, or is it just beer only?
Look, this has been a long fucking camp. I'm ready to do anything. Anything. Oh shit. Anything.
So you mentioned there about John Jones. How do you see him returning and at heavyweight?
Said it before, John Jones is a GOAT. He's one of the greatest to ever fight. We all know this. But as a heavyweight, no one really knows. I'm sure that he's still John Jones. His talent and his skill is great. But heavyweight's a different kind of league, you know what I mean? And we don't know. We have to wait and see.
If that fight does go down with him and Stipe, how do you see that playing out?
My tips are pretty bad, so I reckon Jones will get him. Jones is still young. I think Stipe is a bit older. But to be honest, I don't even watch, so I don't know.
And you said that he's one of the greatest of all time. Did you see that as a potential matchup for yourself, maybe later down the line?
I'd love to fight him. Said it before, this is why I do this. I want to, one day when I wrap up this whole fighting gig, I want to say I fought this guy and that guy, the best guys. I don't want to come out and I didn't have the opportunity to fight the best. So I'd love to fight John, and I'd love to knock his head off as well. It'd be pretty cool.
And then, of course, going back to this weekend with Cyril, where would you rank him in terms of the competition that you fought previously?
Cyril's a champion. He's won the belt. He's one of the best of the best. I've fought a couple champions now, and he's up there with the best for sure. He would probably be one of the most elusive maybe fighters, within speed and his movement. But if I dink him, I sink him.
And what did you make of his performance against Francis Ngannou?
It was good. I thought to be honest, I don't really know. It was good. I think he lost, didn't he? Yeah, but yeah, good fight.
And of course yourself, you're on a 5-fight win streak, all being finishes within the second round. What do you put that success down to?
If I dink him, I sink him. If I hit you flush, then don't worry about the cardio, don't worry about none of that. You're going to bed.
Just to build off that, when you are on that kind of streak, what does that do for your confidence heading into a fight like this?
It's cool. I don't know. I'm confident in every fight. I think confidence is key, especially in the fight business. I think I'm just lucky I've got more cool. I don't really take too much into account. All I know is Saturday I get paid and I get to get drunk, and when I win, I get more money. That's all that matters to me.
And I wanted to follow up on something that kind of came out, was about you paying for your own airfare over to here. I just wanted to clarify, is that just because you wanted to be like first class and wanted the leg room, or are you paying for the whole thing, kick the boodle?
Well, I'm not the smallest human, so it is better to fly up the front. But I had a chat with Mick, and I don't know. Apparently, it was in my contract to. I don't know. That's the flights. We should all fly business, just quietly, but that's another conversation.
All right, last one for me. What did you make of the crowd reception yesterday? There were chants of "you're gonna die," and then there was chants of "give us a shoey." Do you think you can win some of these fans over?
Look, I entertain. I walk out to bangers, I knock people out, and I do shoeys. So what's not to love? What's not? Yeah. And if you don't, then fuck off.
All right, we'll love it. Best of luck.
Ty, you on here?
Yeah,
Ja, betuur heb ik het hier doen laat.
Doing that.
Just want to ask, we can talk about fans. We can talk about fans all we want. But you brought 40 people with you. You brought 40 people from Western Sydney.
There we go.
They're cutting us Aussies off here.
Yeah, I know, man.
What's going on?
Too much jewelry. Now, lad, I just want to ask you. They were talking about fans here. You've got close to 30 to 40 friends and family that have come out, mostly from Western Sydney. You said there's a great opportunity for you to bring the family out, and you have a reason for everyone to travel to Paris. But they're doing it for you too. So what is it about that part of the world? You know, they're obviously breeding tough. They're breeding tough out there, but there's a lot of love. And are you feeling that right now in Paris?
Definitely. Like I said, some of my closest friends and my family have made a 24-hour plane ride to come and watch me do my thing. And win or lose, I know that they're on my side, and that's a great feeling to have. And shout out to the rest of Western Sydney. One day we'll be fighting back home, that's for sure.
And do you feel sorry for the poor Frenchman that had to sit between 80 of your cousins on the flight here to Paris?
My poor brothers, they had to sit. They're twice the size of me. I wouldn't want to get stuck with them on the chair, that's for sure.
Thanks, lad.
Thank you.
Hey Ty, what's up?
Brother.
Since you are in Paris, do you feel how much is important for the French public to have a UFC event in France and a champion like Cyril again?
Definitely. I think considering it being illegal not long ago to having two champions that have come out of this side of the world, as in Francis and Cyril, it's crazy. And I think it's awesome that finally they've come around and now I get to have an event, and even better for me to be a part of history, like I said, and be a part of this whole gig. It's awesome. Thank you.
Ty, you mentioned Cyril as a champion. He's known to be one of the quickest heavyweights of his division. Dana once said that he moved like a middleweight. How are you going to do to knock him out, and what's your game plan?
Go in and punch him. That's the same. My game plan is the same for every fight. It doesn't matter. It's go in there and fight, and that's what I do. And I'm gonna go in there and fight. Thank you.
Yesterday during the open workouts, the French Open was more of a boost than a has for you. What do you want to say to the French fans after that? Does it impact you before the fight?
No, I think it's normal. If you're cheering the opposition more than your own people, you don't belong in that place, I think. For example, if Cyril comes to Western Sydney, I don't think he'd get a big cheer either. It's understandable, and I agree with it. I'm all for it. But by the end of it, I'm sure I'll leave France with some new French fans. Win or lose.
Morning, Kelly.
Morning, brother.
Always is famous for your walkout songs as you are for doing the shooting. So can you tell us what you have planned for your walkout Saturday night?
Look, a lot of people try. I never give it up until I walk out. But this one's for the French fans, so maybe the French fans after this one.
I was thinking maybe like a nice French chanson. Or...
I don't know what you said, but it sounded good.
Any nice new jewelry gonna buy after the fight?
Well, if I get another head, I get another ring, you know what I mean?
That's what a ring stands for, yeah?
No, it doesn't, but
Well, now.
these are my money makers. I just like to put good clothes.
Good luck.
Thank you, boss.
Yeah, right here. So, what kind of game plan do you think Cyril has for you?
Cyril's good at what he does, and that's staying long and fighting the fight out. I think we're two very different styles, and I think that's what's going to make it so entertaining. My style is, I'm an aggressive fighter. I bite down the mouth guard and I go forward, and his is to keep distance and score a good fight. So I think that's what's going to make it so interesting and make it such a good battle. But also he's here to put a show on for his fans and to set an example for Paris MMA. And if that means us throwing down in the middle of the ring, I'm all ears.
So, what time will it be broadcasted back home?
That's a good question.
Listen, do you expect a lot of people to watch?
Oh, so I think it's on at like 6 or 7 a.m. So that means big benders for Australia. Big benders. That's Australian culture right there.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We mentioned already that you're on a 5-vote winning streak, but what changed in your mind after the Spivak loss?
Losing. Losing shit. No one wants to lose, no one likes to lose. And I think after losing 3 times in a row, there was something that needed to change, and I think it was me. I needed to just have a look at myself and change what was happening outside of the cage as much as what was happening inside the cage. And I had to look in the mirror, and I felt that I changed a lot, and I switched up a few things, and I take my job a lot more serious now.
Are you happy with the results so far?
I'm happy in life, yeah. So I think in general, the happier I am, or if I'm happy in general, I think everything else blossoms into what it needs to be. And that's including business, fighting, family, everything.
That's good to hear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro.
Hello, Toy. Do you
Hi.
think the atmosphere in France can be better than in Australia?
Well, we'll have to wait till Saturday, but I don't know if the French are as rowdy as Australians. We're pretty rowdy, but I'm keen to wait and see.
Hi. As you were saying, MMA has only been legal in France for about 2 years. For a very long time, it had a very negative image. It was seen as extremely violent. And this morning, you talked about knocking people's head off. So what can you say to people who have a negative image of MMA in France? Maybe that it's more than just a violent sport, it's also technical, or what can you tell them to maybe make them watch this game?
That's just a figure of speech, but I'm sure if I did that, I'd probably go to jail. But MMA is mixed martial arts. Martial arts is for the sport itself is very beautiful in a way. You have to put time, you have to put effort in to get good at it. It's not something. I'm a street fighter. I consider myself I call myself a street fighter, but the whole MMA as a sport, it's jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, these are all sports that you can't just rock up and do for one day. It requires time and effort. It's a beautiful sport and it's a beautiful thing, and what better way to express yourself than challenging against another human that practices the same things, you know what I mean? I think the sport is beautiful, and it's something that kids should get into for self-defense and to keep grounded and for your own confidence. Because in a gym, you can never get too big-headed because it'll soon get put down. Well, that sounds aggressive again, but fuck, I'm not the one to talk to us. Someone that speaks for the sport, I don't know. But yeah, follow the sport, get around it, French. It's not violent. We just knock people out. Thanks, guys.
La nuit des temps, j'ai pas voulu. Non, ouais, non, c'est cool. c'est pas un parcours, hein, frérot, finir en
Nathaniel, just over here. You're coming off your return in July, of course, in London, and now you're back for Paris. What are your feelings going into this weekend?
I'm feeling great, honestly. It's just nice to be active. You know, I'm back doing what I love to do. I haven't got serious weight cuts, you know, where I have to kind of put my life on hold for 12 weeks. So, yeah, 5 weeks ago, you know, I fought Charles Rosa, and now I've got Charles Jourdain.
And, you know, how did it feel coming off that win? Because you had loads of setbacks going into that fight. You know, one pulled out, you had an injury that you were coming back from, and then, of course, going to a new weight division as well. You know, what were the whole kind of feelings prior to, you know, following that one?
So, I think everything happens for a reason, and I think that the fight where I was meant to fight Vince Morales and it pulled out, you know, I think that was a sign to move up a weight. You know, because obviously my performance against Charles Rosa was perfect. You know, I don't think I could have done better getting the finish, of course. So yeah, I think it's to happen and go now.
So what are your feelings going into this weekend, fighting again in Europe, close to home? You've got a new opponent at featherweight. What are your feelings going into this weekend?
I'm just feeling excited. You know, I'm back and I've got an opponent who comes to bang, you know, stylistically, this is a perfect matchup for me. It's a perfect matchup, I think, for the fans as well. So, yeah, 2 more sleeps and then the fun.
And what do you make of Charles Jourdain? You know, he has previously fought at lightweight a while ago, and now obviously you're facing him at featherweight. What do you make of him? How do you see this playing out?
I think he's a very talented fighter. You know, obviously he's ranked above me. That's exactly what I want. You know, the way I see it, I've got a 3 to 4 year period, I think, now where I'm going to be in my prime. So if there's ever a time to, you know, take it up a notch and start chasing that belt, it's now. And, you know, Charles Jourdain, I think, is one of the best strikers in the division. So I think a good win over him puts me in that maybe top 15 rankings. And, you know, if it doesn't, then I'll just keep looking at who I've got to and eventually get a shot.
And you see this definitely as a permanent move for you in this division?
Yeah, 100%. You know, the cuts to bantamweight were just too much for me. I won't close the door on 135 if there's, you know, a matchup that, you know, the UFC are happy for me to take and that I'm happy to take. But there's no way that I'm competing 4 times a year at 135.
And what do you think of Charles in terms of the skill set and how you match up with him?
I think he's very talented, but I see a lot of holes in his game. You know, I guess we're both strikers. You know, we both can grapple. Of course, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm not going to say that neither one of us would go for a takedown or anything like that. But in the striking department, he's very dangerous, but he's also very reckless. You know, I think he leaves himself very open with certain things he throws, and you know, I'm aiming to capitalize on that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good old-fashioned human game of chess.
Nathaniel, earlier today, I think it was, you put out a tweet saying you were feeling the best physically that maybe you ever have going into a fight. And I'm just curious if you can kind of contrast that to other fights you've had recently, and you know, have you done anything in training that's led to this?
So I haven't done anything different, but obviously I've not come away. So after the Charles Rosa fight, we just stayed in the gym. So I'm fitter, you know, the numbers don't lie. I'm hitting better numbers on my cardio. I'm faster, I'm more powerful, and I'm feeling good. You know, I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling healthy. I've got a little bit of a weight cut to do tonight. But yeah, at the moment, I'm feeling like the best Nathaniel Wood that could possibly be going into that fight Saturday night. Last couple of days, and you know, it's time to go to work.
And this is somewhat of a quick turnaround after the last one. And how important was it for you to get back in quickly after, you know, all the time that you lost in the past?
For me, it's everything. You know, a lot of people ask us, "Are you nervous to fight?" You know, if I'm honest, no. This is what I do for a living. You know, I've been in this game for 14 years now, so this is what I enjoy to do. The bit that I don't enjoy is the weight cuts and sometimes the grueling training sessions. But now I haven't got to worry so much about the weight, and that makes the training sessions easier. So, you know, straight after that fight, I was on the treadmill and I thought, why go away and, you know, put weight on and get fat? You know, I may as well stay in shape and just do it again, get paid again, and yeah, I get to come to Paris. You know, I've never been here before, so it's a great experience. And if I'm honest, I'm living the dream. So regardless, I think it's a win-win for me.
Last one for me. Your opponent's French Canadian, not French, but the fans will probably be in his corner. Do you rebel playing spoiler a little?
To be honest, I don't mind. You know, as long as the crowd have got a buzz, I'm happy. So I'd rather be booed than it just be dead silent in there. But I'm hoping that, you know, we've got a lot of English fans in there as well. So I'm excited, and you know, regardless of what the crowd think, at the end of the day, it's just me and Charles in there.
That's right.
Thank you.
Nathaniel, just another quick one. Charles was in here earlier and he said that he thinks he can break you mentally. Just wanted to know what your response was to that.
I don't know where he's got that from. You know, if he's seen any of my fights, I think it's safe to say that that's not going to happen.
How do you feel about fighting Europe twice in a row in a short period of time? Does it make it easier also for you to stay active?
Yeah, much easier, much more comfortable, no jet lag, less to worry about, and yeah, if I'm honest, I feel spoiled fighting in Europe. Thank you, guys.
these are all big fights, but Robert Whittaker is a former champion, sort of a legend in this division. I'm curious how you're feeling heading into this Saturday night, and what do you think about Rob as an opponent?
Very, very. Yeah, he's definitely an experienced opponent. Excuse me. Hey. Thank you.
Yeah. He's definitely an experienced opponent, but I feel very, very confident. And I'm not underestimating him, but yeah, man, I have a few aces on the sleeves that he's not gonna know that I have. And you know, like he's definitely very good, but with that being said, he's the same fighter that he was like a year ago. He's the same fighter that he was in his last fight. I'm not. Like, I keep improving. I'm more hungry. And, you know, like, I'm on my way up. I don't believe he is. So, that's the biggest difference there.
Do you think that's something that you can, not that you're not a confident guy, but is that something you can take confidence from, where you think, hey, I'm still improving, I don't see this guy improving, he might be sort of starting to plateau here, so I know I can go in there and do different things than he can at this point?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that shows not just, you know, like that shows like not just in the fight, that's in everywhere. Like in my training, I go in and I want to get better. I'm giving it my all. Like it's different when you want to just cruise, you know what I mean? You know, he's a great fighter, and you know, I don't believe that he goes into training cruising, but like the hunger is way different. Like what I want is not what, like, you know, we're different. Like I said, I'm on my way up and he's not. That's it.
When you look at the fight itself, are you expecting more of a grapple heavy fight, or do you think you can go out there and get into a war with this guy? Do you think he's going to try and avoid you and use his range? Where do you think this fight takes place on Saturday? How does it go?
He can't grapple with me. He can't grapple and be successful with me. He just can't. So he'll try, and I welcome it if he does, but he really can't. I can. And I can do anything in that fight, and I will, because it's MMA at the end of the day. And but yeah, man, like I said, I think I match up very bad for him. Like my skills match up very well for myself against him, and the way that I fight will drain him, will make him do mistakes, and I'll capitalize on those, you know.
What's on the line for the winner here? Right, both of you have fought Izzy, both of you didn't beat him. Do you guys kind of have to hope that Alex Pereira beats him in November, or do you think, hey, look, I'll just keep fighting, keep winning, and eventually I think he will have to fight me one more time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't plan things like that, but like, I don't want Pereira to win just because it would excite me more as a next challenger eventually. And I think that will happen, because after this, I mean, I'm going to establish myself as #1 contender. I mean, what's left for me? I'll pretty much fought everybody. And yeah, I mean, I think it will be undeniable another title shot with a great performance against Whittaker, you know. But yeah, I mean, like, I decided it's over, man. Nothing excites me about that guy. Of course, I'll get my win against him before I'm done with all this. But yeah, man. I mean, the things that he can do best now is painting his nails. I definitely like more Pereira, and you know, the way he carries himself and the way he goes about fighting and all that. Like not much bullshit, just straight bad motherfucker type of thing, and that's it.
Not into the painted nails look, no?
Oh hell no, man! Come on. This old way gonna change, man. This old way we're going. It's not good.
The guy you have fought, Paulo Costa, he said that he wanted to fight the winner of this fight. I'm curious, after everything that happened with you last time, you know, the weight and all that crazy stuff, is that even something you'd ever entertain again, or do you think, no, screw that guy?
But then he changed. This guy just like, I think he changed opinion again. He's like, this guy, like, someday I'm actually a fan of his Twitter, I'm not gonna lie. His Twitter is so fucking funny. So, I don't know, I don't think he deserved it. Not after a fight like that, especially. It's not in my mind right now.
What did you think of his fight with Lee?
It was nice to watch from a fan point of view, but there was like from a fighter, elite fighter point of view, there wasn't much. I mean, it was an all-out war, not much game planning, not much. You know, when you go to war, you gotta have a plan and you gotta stick to the plan. And yes, things can go wrong and you can make adjustments, but you gotta have an underlying plan. That thing was just like a brawl, like most people, no managing without, there was like no managing of energy, no game plan, like when he got him hurt, he took him down, like it was just like an all-out brawl, like messy slugfest kind of thing, you know?
Marvin, just over here. You mentioned about Adesanya. What did you make of his past performance against Cannonier?
Zero. It's delusional shit. People left before the fight finished. I was there. Bullshit. Came out with all that, like all that, doing that thing. So he did the same thing with me, come out with the samurai thing. Oh, I'm gonna revenge, man. You know, like do it for my friend. Isn't that? Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. It's over.
And you know, given his history with Pereira, how do you see that fight unfolding at UFC 281?
I really hope like he goes out on another oxygen mask. But and I think it can happen because that's gonna be a kickboxing fight. With that being said, I'm done talking about this guy, to be honest.
And you said Pereira obviously interests you the most in terms of that matchup there. You know, how would you see yourself matching up with him if he was, of course, to take the title from Izzy?
Well, you know, because I think I would match up well. I'm definitely more complete, but he's a hell of a fighter. I mean, you know, he's a hell of a fighter. I respect him. But yeah, we like with any other opponent, I would game plan, and I would be super ready, and I'll come in and give it my best and walk away with a win.
And what have you made of his climb through the division? Of course, he's had that previous history with Israel, and that's kind of made him kind of bypass perhaps a few people in the division.
Yeah, but I mean, Strickland is now. He's now like a champ, you know. Like I train with Strickland a lot. Like Strickland's solid. He might be and not, but like he might be crazy, but he's good. And so I mean, you beat a guy like that, you deserve the spot you're in, you know. And then I understand you know. This is not like an Olympic sport where like there's like an 8-man tournament and it's all like, you know, like first go with the second, third go with the fourth and things like this. So he's keep the line because he put him on an oxygen mask on a stretcher the last time they fought. So I understand that.
And of course, going back to your fight with Robert Whittaker this weekend, of course this was supposed to be in Singapore for UFC 275. You know, what was your initial reaction when you first heard that fight was on?
I was pissed because this happens too many times, but to be honest, I think I'm more ready now than how I would have been back in June, to be honest. So it played out actually good.
And at that time, you did call out, you know, you were trying to get another fight, you were calling out Till and even Hamza as well. What was the thought process behind that?
Well, yeah, because when I'm preparing for a fight and then that falls off, I'm really trying to like fight anybody at that point. It's like this is how I am. So I was just calling out everybody, but I don't think I ever even called out Darren Till. And he's actually completely irrelevant at this point, I think, in the division. He's literally zero. Delusional also. You can't even. I mean, how are we even talking about him? We can just talk about him just because he's helping Kamzat getting ready, but he hasn't been fighting in a long time. He's done. I don't think, to be honest, he's gonna ever come back with any decent opponent. So that fight doesn't make any sense. We come to, yeah, man, I mean, I would love to fight him. Later on, for sure. Let's see if he stays down, if he comes up. But yeah, for sure, that's a fight that excites me too.
What did you think about him being matched up with Nate Diaz? How do you think that goes down?
I mean, obviously he's the favorite, but you know, I think more like if he would have fought Diaz before he fought Durinho, Diaz would have had more time because he would be so full of himself. He might have gassed, and then if it was a 5-rounder, Nate maybe could have capitalized. But now he knows. I believe if he's a little bit smart, he he realized things are not like when I'm fighting chumps in the gym and I'm just gonna run over them, over and over. If you fight somebody very solid. So, of course he's the favorite. Of course, yeah, I mean, everybody on his last fight of the contract, they get I'm speaking for Nate, they get another OG or something like that. He's getting an up and comer, but yeah, it's a fun fight. That's it.
And then going back to this weekend, how do you see yourself getting your hand raised this Saturday?
I'm gonna try to really finish him, either a submission or striking or knockout. If not, I'll be dominant. I'll be very dominant. Thank you.
Marvin over here. In terms of your last fight against Juan Costa, you proved that you were pretty game no matter what, all the weight increases, you say at the event. Have you seen a difference in how the fans receive you now since that fight?
Yeah, but yeah, a little bit.
Fair enough. And Costa went on to fight Rockhold recently. You mentioned it was a good fight for fans. What did you think of the blood smear at the end of that fight for Rockhold?
Weird.
I mean, if you were in that situation, how do you think you would have reacted?
I would have not been in that situation with Rockhold on top of me.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Hey Morgan, what's up? We are live on Twitch. This is one question for our viewers. First of all, what do you want to say for the French fans, since MMA and UFC is pretty young in France, and maybe they don't know you about you, what they can expect from you in the cage in the octagon on Saturday?
They should know the best European fighter. A lot of action, a lot of action, and a great fight.
All right, and have you got an eye on a French fighter also in the same weight category as you, Nassourdine Mabov, who is also fighting on Saturday? Would you think it could be a great matchup for a 100% European fight in the future?
He's all right. He got a long way to go still.
All right, thank you.
Ciao Marvin.
Ciao Caro.
Two Italian fighters are competing on the main card. What does it mean for Italian MMA?
Yeah, it's great. It's great that two Italian fighters are fighting in Europe, and they're both in the same card. It's nice. I said it Italy has to be next. This was one of my two big goals when I entered the UFC, and one was to bring the UFC to Italy. The second one was to become the first Italian UFC champion. So we definitely I believe I'll make both happen, but the first, bringing it to Italy, it's also a big dream of mine, and I'll be campaigning hard, and we're gonna make it happen.
How long before it happens, in your opinion?
I don't know. We could ask Dana or the higher powers of the UFC. But I'm definitely gonna do my best, and Saturday night is gonna be a big step towards it.
I was just wondering whether you and Di Chirico had some training sessions together.
Yeah. Yeah, before we started camp, before I started camp, I was in Italy for like 10 days or so, and he came up. We trained a little bit, and now it was good. It was good. It was a great training session, and it was right at the beginning of the camp. That's it. We just exchanged some knowledge, and yeah, man. I mean, wish him nothing but the best.
And last one for me, un messaggio per i fan italiani.
Grandi ragazzi, voglio sentirvi tutti quando saremo in arena, farò un mega casino.
Grazie. Thank you.
Prego.
Hi, Mark. Good morning. Whittaker said earlier this week that he might explain with the idea of maybe going up to 205. I'm thinking you just said you fought most of the guys at 185, so something you might be interested in as well.
Well, that was funny first, because I don't think he's ever going to go through 205. But, yeah, I mean, eventually we'll see, but it's not in my mind right now. You know, I started as a 185er, and I'm not the guy that like change routes just because it's hard. And so I'm staying here for sure. But, you know, 205 is good. Eventually, I'd like that too.
Yeah, this fight at 205 once, even though it wasn't planned on.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable with it?
Yeah, I mean, weight, it's overrated, you know? Like, for years, I was battling Verdum in the little fucking cage at Kings. So, no knee pads, he tried to take my head off for years, and I'm still alive, so I don't think there's too much of it's like much worse than that, you know? Perfect.